Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Gemini Scale Model Works video. This could be a recap of what I've done up till now on this Peterbilt Wrecker. Everything you see here that's with a green X in it has been done, completed. That's the engine. I showed you guys the engine in one of my last videos. The only thing I've done on the wheels, which would be the next step, is I just repainted them. And so that's that. The chassis is complete. All of this is complete, including this that I have underlined here. Those rods are all in. This I have finished, but I did run into issues doing this part, so I will show you the issues I was running into, and then I'll show you how I fixed that part. All of this up here is completed except for the pitman arm and the gearbox and all that stuff. So, with all of that being said, let me show you what the issue was here and how I fixed it. Stay tuned and we will be right back. For the last day, 2 days ago, I posted a video about adding brakes and suspension and all of this to this Peterbilt tow truck. I am having some problems with these brakes. I have watched 100 videos, no, not 100, but quite a few videos on people that have done this model. Unfortunately, they don't show exactly what they did. My problem was that when I put, and the instructions were not very clear on this. So this right here is a backing plate, a brake backing plate, and you see it's got 2 holes in there. And it's got a groove on the bottom, which I showed you guys in the last video. And there's a notch on the axle. I was trying to put this like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. Unfortunately, doing it that way, the wheel would not, let's see, let me get a wheel. The wheel would hit and be all cockeyed. So after watching quite a few videos, in fact I even watched one guy who had these guys upside down to make it work. But I believe that they have to go with the bags towards the top. So the one I saw that I liked was where the person that built the model put the airbag down almost under the sway arm. And this all the way back. So that I think will work, because now if I take my wheel, and they also, one guy, or actually 2 guys, actually put an extension on there so the wheel came out to the edge of the fender. But if I put the wheel on it, yeah, okay, it's going to fall. Anyhow, that would be the correct position to get this to work. Now, if you notice on this one, there's no rod sticking out. That's because in all my fussing with this, I was trying to get this to work, and I cut the rods off just to see if I can maneuver it a little bit better. Anyhow, because I did that, I had to redo what I did previously. So what I did was I had this evergreen rod, which is approximately, where'd that piece go? Get out here. Which is almost the same exact size as that rod. I drilled this out, and this rod here, well, here it is. I cut it to size, and I'll put it in there. So I will have the original, well, almost original, if I get that straight. I will have the original setup. Also, I thought that this double bag was going in the front, but after watching these videos and looking at the instructions more closely, this actually goes on the front differential position. So, with that being said, I'm going to try and get this to work. I'm really getting frustrated with this model. This brake system is like holding me up. I do want to do some plumbing on here. So we'll see how that goes. Anyhow, we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, now that you've seen the issues that I was having, I'm going to show you what I came up with here to solve the problem. Instead of using all the factory type stuff that they give you to mount these these air brake parts, I cut all the rods off and I actually mounted these to the differentials. And that could be very prototypical. Again, I mounted it to the differentials. So all my airbags for my brakes are in. The fronts I put the way the factory suggested to put. My front shocks are in. This chassis at this point is complete. Now, if something falls and I see it, or I hear it fall or see it fall or whatever, I usually can find it. This backing plate fell off and I don't know where it fell off at. So that might hold me up also. Although I really don't need to have that, because when the wheel goes on, you're not really going to see that. Anyhow, it is my intention in this video to do some plumbing on this. And what I mean by plumbing is I'm going to run air lines to all the air brake bellows or actuators or whatever you want to call them, all the way up to the front also. So I'm going to have 3 separate tanks. This will be the reservoir tank. Now, according to the instructions, this tank is supposed to be mounted on the outside of the chassis, but it gets covered up with the stairs, with the steps, I should say, not stairs. So I decided I'm going to mount it on the inside, since it already has the mounting plugs or pins, and it also has the holes right there in the chassis. So the Protect braided line 18 thousandths is what I'm going to be using for that. And what I did was I painted it blue, and I know you might not be able to see the color that well, but how I did this, because it's a piece of wire and it's all squiggly like that, I used my clippy dealies and put that on the top, and I hung this with a weight on the bottom, and then I was able to paint it. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I did draw up a schematic to show you how I'm going to do all of this. It's kind of confusing to see because it's on one of these cards, you know, so it's really small. Anyhow, I think it's going to be a nice little detail. I'm also going to run lines for the suspension airbags. So, with all that being said, let's get going with this project. We'll be back shortly. Okay guys, welcome back. I am so glad that I have overcome that problem. So, now it's on to the next problem. I don't know if it'll be a problem. I don't think it will be. But anyhow, what you're looking at right here is a schematic of the air supply system I'm going to try to put into this vehicle. Now, as you can see, we'll start here at the engine, and I will have these lines painted in red, because that will be the main supply. It will go to the reservoir tank, which I showed you guys previously. From the reservoir, it will go to the brake tank, and it also go to the suspension tank. The brake cables or air lines will be blue. So you got 2 coming up to the front, and you can see this right here is a little bit of a junction block. And then I'll show you again, here's another junction block. Now how I did those junction blocks is just like that. One there and one there. Now that was made out of this styrene. I don't remember the exact size, but it's pretty thick. I cut these down to be 6-inch, scale 6-inch by 6-inch squares. So it'll have, let me show you here. Get this out of here. Get this out of here. So from the brake tank, supply tank, it'll come to this little junction block in the center, and then from there it'll go out to each individual brake bellows or actuator. I don't know exactly what to call it. And then also with the green on the suspension, these hash marks in here because I thought there would be airbags in the front, but there are no airbags in the front. So it'll get fed from the reservoir tank over to the suspension tank, and from there it will go out again another 5-hole junction block, and that'll feed all the airbags. Alright, so that being said, let me show you what I've got done so far. So, what I did before I put all of these airbags in here, I did drill holes in the back of the cylinders. Now, you can see that right there and right there, they are connected to the airbags. And the lines will come up here. Now, those little junction blocks I showed you, they will get mounted inside there. And both of them, one for the air suspension and one for the brakes. Anyhow, with that being said, I did show you how I painted this. Oh, you can see the color now too. Pretty cool. This comes as an 18-inch piece. And I thought 18 inches would be enough to do everything on here, but it isn't. So I had to order more of this stuff. So it won't stop me from doing the brakes today, but the air suspension will have to wait until Friday to get more of the braided cable. Anyhow, all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put these two in and get the back all set up and possibly run the airline up to the tank. Now, I don't know which side I'll put the tank on. Here's one tank, and here's the other tank. Now, I don't know exactly if the air brakes would be on the right side or if the air brakes would be on the left side. I'm not sure. Anyhow, with all that being said, we will be back in a few minutes. Okay, boys and girls, we are back, and I want to show you what I've achieved so far on this brake system. So as you can see down in there, way down in there, maybe I should bring you guys closer so you could really see what's going on. Like right there. That is the air brake hose routing for the rear brakes. And as you can see, I got my 5-port block, and I'm going to repaint that block to the blue that everything else is painted in. I did paint it silver, but unfortunately, because of the way I had to glue those in there, the glue got all over the place. Anyhow, as you can see there, this line right here will be going to my tank, the supply tank for the brakes. Let me show you the underneath part. And as you can see, I got a line going to each of the brake cylinders, and I think, to me, that's looking pretty good. Now, I mentioned earlier that I can't complete this because I needed to order more of this this particular size of braided line. I ordered it, and unfortunately, I made a mistake when I ordered it. When I looked at the web page, it said 18 times 0.035, which is twice, actually 3 times the size of what's in there now, because this is 0.18. Anyhow, I got a notification today that it's on its way, so I'm not going to be able to use that, so I had to reorder the correct size. So I will not be able to finish the rest of the braking system or the airbag system until I get all of that. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and switch gears now, and we're going to start working on some other parts of this vehicle. So stay tuned, and let's see what we're going to get into next. Okay, boys and girls, we are back, and we are going to start working on the working end of this vehicle. So, I started to pick all my parts off this sprue, and as you can see, I got all the yellow stuff, but I have I think might be a major problem. Right here, you can see I had that circled right there. I do not have that part. I cannot find that part. I looked on all the sprues. I checked the sprues on the back of the box and all that kind of stuff. I looked for loose parts in the box. It's just not there. So, once I start getting stuff together, I think I might be able to scratch build that little piece. Doesn't look very complicated. Even if it's just a square that has to fit in there, I will find out as we carry on with this. Anyhow, I did put some pre-assemblies together. like that. I don't know what that's called. It's spool support. And you can see I got that together. And I have 1, 2, 3 of the spools together. This is not, this is actually, oops. This is actually the boom up and down dealing with bobber. So, and then I got a bunch of parts in here for this area up here. Now, first thing we're going to do, of course, is go out and spray everything with, I'm going to use this Mr. Surfacer 1200 this time around, and we'll see how that's going to work out. So with all that being said, let me go ahead and prepare all these spots like you see here on the bed. I will go ahead and do the same thing on all the parts that do not need to get paint or glue. These guys here do not get glued in because they're supposed to be able to spin. I don't know if I'm going to have that attraction or not. Anyhow, with all that being said, we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, boys and girls, we are back, and I'm starting to put some more of the sub-assemblies together. And it's crazy because there is absolutely no alignment pins on here, no alignment pins on here. This didn't have no alignment pins. This didn't have no alignment pins. So as far as instructions go on it, I mean as far as the kit and the instructions actually, because the instructions are not very clear, I give this a fail. But anyhow, I'm going to try to assemble this and see how it goes. Now, it probably can only go one way because it got this little jet out right there. I guess that's what you would call it. So, I would put that in there like that. I guess, I don't know what that is right there. But if we can get this part right here started, I'm going to use quick set. Oops, see this, it's nothing to hold it. Alright boys, let's give it a little tack weld right there. Alright, so I'll just move on down the line here. Continue welding this. It's going to be another serious seam that I'm going to have to clean up. There seems to be a lot of space in that right there. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Like I said, the instructions are not very clear. Alright, let's give this a second or two to set up, and then we'll do the other side. I hope this fits in there. Oh yeah, very good. Woo, woo, woo. Gotta have a little fun while you're putting these models together, guys, otherwise it's not worth it. Let's see if we can, I don't know if that gap's supposed to be there. Don't know. I don't know, baby. Alright. Alright. Jeez. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of sanding to do on this, for sure. I'm really squeezing on that to hold it. It's kind of stupid that they don't give any locating pins. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, sand it down, and get it in prime, and then we will be back. Okay guys and gals, what you're looking at right now is the instruction sheet, and I told you earlier on that I was missing that piece right there. I was going to leave it off, but problem with that is if you look right next to it, right there is a winch that has to go in that hole. So I said, okay, it's not that hard to do, so I'll go ahead and do it. So what I used to make it was this evergreen styrene strips. Number is 149, and it's 40 thousandths by 250 thousandths. And made it real easy because it was almost the correct size other than cutting a little corner off. So, with that being said, let me show you what I made. So, basically it's what came in the kit, except that I just made it out of a piece of styrene sheet, or styrene strip I should say. Anyhow, now we'll be able to complete this down here with the piece that's missing off the back. Oops. Like right there. And so, alright, let me see if I can get this to fit in there. And we'll continue on from there. Alright, be right back. Okay guys, I am a little confused at some stuff sometimes these manufacturers put stuff together. What I'm talking about is they tell you not to glue these guys in because they want them to spin. That's cool. I like that. Don't glue this in because this has got to move up and down. Cool, I like that. But when it comes to putting the pulley into the outer boom, it gets glued in so it don't move. So I decided I was going to fix that. So what you see here, right now I got to sand it down because I'm going to repaint it. Here is the pulley. And I happen to have a rod that fit in there perfectly. And I drill a hole in there. And so now, even with all my other parts moving, so will my pulley. Da 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 da. Alright, so here's that little thing that I just made. All the non-working parts will get the color of the body. These will get black. This will be body color. This will be body color. This will be working parts, so it'll get different color, like maybe steel or something like that. Here's a little motor, and here's that winch I was talking about. Those will get different colors. These are the side mounts for one of the tubs down there. And I intend to use some easy line for the rigging on this. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes were always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. The Gemini scale model works out for now. Bye!